No one in that fancy room was prepared for what was about to happen. Charles Spencer, Diana's younger brother, walked in carrying something that nobody liked. Within minutes, the carefully crafted image of Queen Camilla began to fall apart. But what everyone missed was Catherine's expression. What she saw in that room was something she had quietly feared for years. Tonight, that fear cuts deep into the heart of the British monarchy. The palace handed Charles Spencer the mic and paid the price for it. The event was meant to be a grand showcase. It was a formal gathering with senior royals present, cameras allowed in the reception area, and a program planned down to the minute. Charles Spencer was invited to speak, and the palace even prepared a speech for him. It included warm, measured words about Diana's humanitarian work and how her legacy now fits within the royal family. The message was clear. This was a chance to improve Queen Camilla's image and link her to Diana's name without the usual tension. They wanted to honor Diana's memory while making it seem as though the royal family had moved on from the pain of 1997. However, there was a significant problem with this plan. For nearly 3 decades, Charles Spencer watched how the royal family tried to change the story about how they failed his sister. He saw their slow reaction after Diana's death, including their reluctance to lower the flag to half-mast. He noted their agonizing delay in responding to a grieving nation. At Diana's funeral in September 1997, instead of speaking about her, Spencer spoke for her. He promised that William and Harry would not be purely constrained by duty and tradition. This statement upset the palace, and the Queen was reportedly unhappy. But no one could stop him. It was his sister's funeral, and the whole world was watching. That was then. This time, the palace underestimated Spencer. He spent the years since building a way to protect Diana's memory, creating archives, collecting personal writings and letters from Diana about her experiences in the royal family. He took steps to ensure these materials were kept where he wanted them, away from unnecessary royal influence. So when he received the invitation to speak at the gathering, he accepted. He thanked the palace for the speech they prepared. He read it over, then set it aside. People often misunderstand Charles Spencer. He is calm and thoughtful, not impulsive or reckless. After Diana died, he rushed back from South Africa, unable to find someone to give the eulogy. He ended up writing one of the most powerful speeches in recent British history in under a week, all while grieving. He does not make emotional decisions lightly. What he did at this gathering was planned. The moment he stood up, people sensed something was different about him. There was a calm about him, noted later by palace staff and aides. It was not nervousness or doubt. It was the calm of a man who has made a decision and is confident in it. Camilla noticed this first. Catherine, sitting a few seats back, saw Camilla notice him. That silent recognition between the two women, both shaped by Diana's memory, marked the end of the room's calm. What Spencer actually said that made the entire room go stone cold. Charles Spencer didn't raise his voice during his speech. That's key to understand. He has never needed to shout to be heard. In 1997, he delivered a eulogy at a steady pace, calm and clear, with each word hitting the audience like a drop in still water. What he did at this gathering felt the same. He started with his prepared remarks. This surprised some people. For the first minute, the audience relaxed, thinking it would be the usual speech about Diana's legacy, heartfelt tributes, and the familiar royal language. People shared small, relieved looks across the table. Then he paused. The pause lasted just a bit longer than the ones before. In any other context, it might have gone unnoticed. But in a room full of people who are trained to read nonverbal cues, even a slight speech delay is noticeable. He looked up from his notes. Then he began to speak from memory. What Spencer said next wasn't about Diana's charity work. It didn't focus on hospices, landmine campaigns, or the foundation. While he honored these things, as a starting point, he moved on to something bigger. He started to build an argument. Quietly and methodically, he crafted an argument that didn't announce itself until you were already deeply engaged with it. He spoke about legacy. He asked what it means, who gets to define it, and who carries it on. He addressed the difference between borrowing someone's name and truly earning the right to use it. And then, at this moment, everyone in the room went still. He talked about the archives. He wasn't vague. He mentioned specific items, personal writings, diaries, and letters in Diana's handwriting that explained her experiences in the royal family. He referred to the 1995 Panorama interview, which the public has only partially understood. Spencer discussed these materials as existing within a legal framework protected by a trust. This trust would not be overseen by the palace or any royal institution, but by Diana's sons, William and Harry. The room remained quiet. This wasn't a scene from a movie. It wasn't about shocked gasps or dropped glasses. Instead, a very uncomfortable silence filled the space. Everyone present started doing quick mental calculations, and none of their answers were favorable. Spencer had, in a careful and polished way, removed the palace's power to shape Diana's future narrative. Any event that wanted to use Diana's image, writings, legacy, or name would now require approval from Spencer and her sons. Camilla sat just 6 feet away when he said this. She didn't show any visible reaction. She was experienced and maintained her composure. But those in the room later noted a shift in her expression. Not shock, but a stillness that showed she realized the foundation for her plans had just changed. An aide quietly approached and spoke in a low voice to a senior staff member. A brief conference of whispers occurred at the edge of the room. Someone reached for a phone but then hesitated. Spencer finished his remarks, laid the papers down, and returned to his seat. When the applause came, it wasn't the usual kind. It felt like a response from a room unsure of what to do next. The moment. Camilla realized this was not a battle she could control. Understanding Camilla's moment requires knowing the weight she has carried to become who she is today. For over 30 years, she has been seen as the villain in the famous royal love story between Charles and Diana. She was the other woman in their marriage, a label she bore even after Diana died in 1997, during the global mourning that followed, and through the public anger that lasted for years. She faced protests, chants against her, and years of headlines labeling her a traitor. Throughout it all, she remained largely silent. The effort to improve Queen Camilla's public image is one of the most carefully planned projects the palace has undertaken in recent years. It took many years, patience, and consistent work to change public opinion. By the time she was crowned in May 2023, many in the British public had changed their views about her. While not everyone was on board, enough people had shifted in their views of her for her image to stabilize, moving away from how she was seen in 1997 toward what she had become over the years. A key part of this project involved Diana. The palace struggled to address the legacy of Diana, the people's princess, because they couldn't simply remove her from public discussion. Instead, they aimed to soften the contrast. They invited Diana's family to events and tried to mention her in a way that wouldn't blame the institution for her struggles. The goal was to slowly integrate the public's grief for Diana into a larger story about the royal family. However, Charles Spencer changed everything when he spoke up in front of the royals. Camilla realized that his speech disrupted their plans. He highlighted something that would protect Diana's true story and prevent the palace from altering it. Diana's story could not be quietly taken, reshaped, or tucked away in an archive until people forgot about it. It remained safe and unchanged, making it impossible for the palace to manipulate. Camilla spent many years navigating the challenges of being queen in a country that admired Diana. She did it carefully by building connections and becoming an essential part of the royal family. Then, in one afternoon, Spencer's speech created a crack in her carefully constructed reputation. Everyone in the room understood the timing of Spencer's words was not random. He chose that moment, with senior royals present, including Camilla and William, so they would have to respond. This was not a rash decision. It was a strategic move. Camilla knows that strategy is the main currency in the royal family. She remained calm during the moment. She didn't leave early or create a scene. She is too skilled for that. However, 2 people in that room who know her well noticed a change in her expression. They would describe what they saw as something rarer in Camilla's demeanor. While fear might sound too dramatic, awareness better describes her feeling. She realized that something significant had changed, and that she would have to find a way to navigate this new situation. Why Catherine broke down, and why nobody in that room saw it coming. Catherine, Princess of Wales, has worked hard to become a key figure in the British royal family. She does not show weakness in public or let the media see her struggles. This steady demeanor held strong despite the rumors about her health in early 2024, her cancer diagnosis, and the treatment that followed. She faced a tough power struggle with Camilla, which some insiders called the most intense conflict between 2 senior royal women in years. There were reports of a strained atmosphere, requiring careful planning to keep Catherine and Camilla apart. Through all this, Catherine maintained a calm and composed exterior. That is why what happened at a recent gathering was so important. While there were no dramatic outbursts, those close to her noticed a subtle breakdown. People who know her recognized it immediately. Her usual mask slipped briefly. Beneath it was grief, old and familiar. Catherine's relationship with Diana's memory is rarely talked about. She married into a family still affected by Diana's presence. Catherine took on the role of Princess of Wales, a title that carries heavy comparisons to Diana. She has handled it with care, publicly honoring Diana and making her presence felt within the family. Privately, Catherine has also observed how Diana's story is viewed within the royal family. The reported tension between Catherine and Camilla has grown so serious that some describe it as open warfare. It is not just about power struggles or scheduling. It goes back to how Diana is remembered and who controls her story. This matters greatly for the future of the monarchy, especially since Catherine is in line to be queen. When Charles Spencer spoke at the gathering, he took apart the palace's hold over Diana's story. For Catherine, this was not just a political moment. It was a turning point she had worked to navigate for years. The grief on her face wasn't only about Diana. It reflected the burden of carrying the family's history and watching them fail to honor the woman who came before her. Catherine didn't say anything in that moment, but those who knew her understood. Even those who didn't know her recognized that something deeper had just been revealed about the Princess of Wales. This is not something a royal is supposed to show, but in that moment, she let it be seen. Where William stood, while Spencer dismantled the palace's plan in full. The most important question about that afternoon is one that is often asked quietly. Where was William? The answer is more complicated than it seems. Prince William, Duke of Wales and future King of England, has faced a tough situation for most of his adult life. He is the son of Diana and Charles and the stepson of Camilla. He has managed these relationships carefully, which has sometimes frustrated royal watchers who want him to be more open about his family's issues. He doesn't speak publicly about them. In public, he emphasizes unity and stability as he prepares for his future role. However, his private feelings are different. Multiple sources have reported over the past 2 years that William's relationship with Camilla isn't as smooth as it appears. The warmth they show in public masks a more complex relationship. William has never fully forgiven the royal family for what happened to his mother. He has grown impatient with how the palace has handled Diana's memory. What William knew about his uncle Spencer's plans is unclear. What is clear is that the legal setup Spencer described, which protects Diana's diaries and writings, requires her son's involvement. Spencer cannot simply declare that William and Harry will oversee something without their agreement. So, William knew. He may not have known every detail or the exact time Spencer would announce it, but he knew the basics. He was present. He listened to his uncle speak. People who observed him then noted that he did not look surprised. This shows a lot. William was not caught off guard by his uncle's actions. He was in the room, watching the announcement that would change how his mother's story would be told. And he did not object. His silence was louder than any words. William's lack of objection showed his approval. He expressed this approval in a way that was not obvious to the public, but clear to those in the room. The palace often communicates like this, through silence and positioning rather than statements. William allowed it to happen. Camilla noticed William's lack of objection to Spencer's speech. In that moment, she realized something significant about his views on his mother's legacy. William sided with Spencer. He sided with Diana. Catherine, who watched nearby, felt the weight of that moment and would need time to process it. She wasn't upset because something was lost. She was emotional because she finally realized something important. What this all really means for Diana and the monarchy going forward. After an afternoon like this, not everything will change immediately. The monarchy won't change overnight. Camilla will not give up her title just because a man gave an uncomfortable speech in front of senior royals. The royal institution is well established and has handled disruptions for a long time. No single moment can undo decades of careful management. Whatever happened in that room will not be officially recorded. There will be no statement or press briefing acknowledging the tension. The palace will continue to project a calm and composed image, as always. However, some changes do not need press briefings to be real. When Charles Spencer set up a trust for Diana's personal writings, it was not a dramatic act. It did not involve theatrics. This change determines who controls the main source of Diana's story. Any future biographers, documentary makers, journalists, or filmmakers wanting access to Diana's writings will have to go through a trust managed by William and Harry, not Buckingham Palace. That change is permanent. The effects of this decision run deeper than people realize. If Diana's diaries are ever published, they will not support the narrative shaped by the palace for nearly 30 years. Instead, they will present the story Diana wanted to tell. This is the story she hinted at during her 1995 Panorama interview. Some parts have emerged in biographies and documentaries over the years, but they have never been shared in full in her own words, free from the palace's influence. Now that there is an unfiltered record, protected from palace control, every conversation about Diana will change from this point onward. Camilla is part of that story, but not as a villain though. It's important to clarify that. The portrayal of Camilla in Diana's private writings is not necessarily the negative image seen in tabloids during the 1990s. Camilla appears in those writings based on how Diana experienced and perceived her. This includes Diana's feelings about having another woman in her marriage and the impact it had on her. This perspective has never been fully public, and now it is safely held by the two men who loved Diana the most. This development changes Camilla's position in ways a public relations strategy cannot completely control. For Catherine, this situation is more personal than political. She is the future queen and is building the monarchy that will follow Camilla. How Diana's story is told will greatly affect what that future monarchy represents and how the public views it. What Spencer did that afternoon gave Catherine confidence that the monarchy will not hide the true story of the woman she honors. In brief, honest moments, Catherine showed how much this means to her. The monarchy usually controls what stories people know. When Charles Spencer spoke to the senior royals and said that Diana's story is now out of their control, he wasn't attacking them but reminding them that they don't own all narratives. Diana's story always belonged to her, and now, after nearly 30 years, the monarchy cannot claim otherwise. The British monarchy has often decided what people remember or forget. Spencer's speech and the change in the law changed this forever. Some truths, once shared in front of the right people, cannot be taken back. Diana's story and Catherine's reaction made that clear.